attention. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. We are the KC Soccer Journal. Cody, Robert, and Thad is drying out is here. Thad is a little wet from the game last night. Boys, what a week in the world of Cody. What a week for me. Been a good week. Actually, let me rephrase. I don't have a job. The real world, my life is falling apart. But in the world of soccer, all things coming up Cody right now. It's good times. Manchester City wins the treble. Sporting Kansas City above the playoff line. Messi's coming to MLS. St. Louis dropped points to LA today. It's just all things are good right now. Gentlemen, welcome. Thad, are you indeed dry from the rainy game last night?
Yeah, I am dried out, yes. I think one piece of my equipment may not be yet, so.
Oh yeah, is that a problem in the rain? You're a professional. Don't you have like coverings and things like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. But some things still get wet, so.
Okay.
So, okay, actually, how hard was it raining? Because it's hard to tell from the press box.
It was first half, it was actually pretty solid. Second half, it was just a mist, man.
Yeah.
Hard to tell because we were nice and dry up in the press box. Felt good up there. It was actually a beautiful night.
It was.
Hey, Cody, you forgot to mention one participant here tonight, and he's not too happy about it.
Oh, I did. I forgot David in the chat. I didn't shout out David in the chat is here. Welcome, even though you can't respond. I guess I need to address him or he gets mad.
David, we love you.
This episode is brought to you by Robert and Robert Associates. Is your first choice defense team unavailable? The law firm of R&R is a great replacement to keep you out of trouble. Somehow it just works. Robert and Robert Associates, the defense rests. So let's begin right there. It seems like a good segue. I don't know. It seems like our sponsors line up really well to what's been going on in the world of Sporting KC.
How that happens. It's crazy.
So it just happens that we had Castellanos and Volader, both Roberts, starting in center back last night in the 4-1 win over Austin FC. That leaves Sporting Kansas City. They're above the playoff line. It's real. We had a show wondering if the playoffs were even possible, like a month and a half ago, like 6 weeks ago. And they are indeed above the playoff line. Still have played more games than a lot of other teams. But things are obviously looking much better now. So let's begin here with the defense. Castellanos got to be paraded around. He got the Cauldron trip. Oh no, that was Pulido last night, wasn't it? In the Cauldron. Yeah, they did. That was Pulido in the Cauldron. Castellanos got to do the interview with Peter in the media after the game. He scored a goal. He did well enough with Robert Volader back there and made me look bad from last week, of course. So let's hear what I had to say about Castellanos just 1 week ago. Probably Castellanos, who is terrible, and we're going to get to that. I can't do Castellanos anymore.
Good, I'm glad you're giving Castellanos some credit here.
Made a terrible back pass.
Wow, you were pretty harsh.
Yeah, I didn't. I just went all the way in on it. Thad, what did you think of the? I guess I almost called him a youngster again. They did that on the broadcast last night, but he is, what is he, 26 now? Something like that. I don't know why I asked you a question if you weren't going to know. Thad, what did you think of Robert Castellanos?
Oh, he played well, and then he contributed the goal, and he almost an assist. I don't know if he actually got the assist, but
he didn't. He should have been, though.
That goal, he smashed it home.
Yeah. That's every defender's dream right there, man. Like, be a forward.
Yeah, the striker clips it, and it just falls right to you in the box. That is a center back's dream for sure.
So, yeah, like almost every defender has been a forward at some point, and they drift back as their quality doesn't keep up. So every one of them just really wants to be that striker still.
Robert, why did this inexperienced center back pairing seem to work last night? Are we giving them too much credit because Austin is just a bad team?
Well, I mean, just to add to Castellanos, Volader was fine. Nothing, major. He did his job. But Castellanos also won 5 aerials last night. And he just had the game of his life, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, the midfield, we dropped back a little bit farther than we normally do on Austin. We pinched in our wing wide midfielders a little bit more than we normally do to take away Driussi and take away Zardes. So, they got a lot of help from the midfield, I think. But Castellanos, especially when he was called on, was certainly there.
Are we pronouncing the L's in that name? I've been saying Castellanos. We need to be consistent here.
Oh, why start?
That's
exactly.
Okay.
Why start?
All right, touche. How about Tim Leibold? That cross to Pulido for the third goal. That whole play was so pretty. And we haven't had, at least it hasn't felt like we've had someone that can send in crosses like that for a long time, Thad.
No, it was a very good cross and just almost got blocked anyway, but it was a very good cross, very well timed. It has that nice little curl, so it has a chance to get around the defender a little bit easier.
Almost blocked. That just means that was just the level of difficulty of the pass. Almost blocked, but got around him. Threaded the needle.
He did.
Hey, he was also the one to play the ball in that Castellanos headed back. So almost two there for Tim.
Yes, very good look from Tim. Eric Tommy had good moments last night. He still does. He's obviously playing better. He went that 3-game stretch where I was entirely done with him, and it didn't seem like he could do anything at all. But he has been playing better. He still seems guilty of he's doing too much. That's something that Peter said in his town hall meeting with the Cauldron, that he is too active, runs around too much. He could do more with less, and I think he's still guilty of that a little bit. But some of those balls he's so inconsistent with the set pieces. Some of them look like he's a master and it's dangerous every time, but then on both of the free kicks where he was going to take a shot, I absolutely knew it was going to hit the wall. Robert, what do you think of Eric Tommy?
Yeah, Cody, media game is coming up, man. I assume you're in. You get a free kick in the media game. I want to see you put it over the wall.
Over and
I'm
under.
throwing it back at you, man.
No problem. No problem. You've seen what I can do
No
in a
problem.
media game.
No, Tommy has proven, playing on that right wing, midfield part, more in the right channel, has proven to really take some instruction well, too. I think that he's realized that he doesn't have to do everything and what his role is in this, formation and where he's playing now. So credit to him for that, for sure.
Thad, are we getting in your way of something that you're doing? Are we bothering you?
I was just comparing some stats, man. That's all.
Okay, you're working. Are you ready? Do you want me to filibuster for you, or are you ready for some stats you got?
No, I'm not ready at all.
Okay, so you're just going to continue to ignore us for the next couple minutes. Okay.
I completely pay attention to you, man. I can do two things at once. I can multitask.
Okay, Kyrie Shelton got his goal. We've been critical of him, as everyone has been. I think some of that was fair for a long time, but I felt very happy for him. It just after he finally got that first one and then it was called back for offsides, it still just seemed like Kyrie is not allowed to have anything good ever. I felt so bad for him all over again. And then it was just a few minutes later he got a nice tap in. I of course everyone was groaning at the substitution, but Thad, Peter has stayed strong with Kyrie this whole time, and he was pretty pumped in that post game for it.
He was. I heard some boos when Kyrie subbed in, man. It wasn't just groans. There was some outright boos.
Oh, I didn't actually hear the boos, but oh yeah, that makes sense then, because Peter, not even just in this response, I guess we'll talk more about it after this, but Peter was on one last night. You could see he just had like more in the tank that he was not saying exactly.
Yeah.
But he got pretty animated when it came to Kyrie's goal.
Yeah, it's great, and I think that he should go like this to the crowd, because he gets a lot of criticism, but the bottom line is that he's trying, and he's been out of form, but he's been working really hard to get back in form. And at the end of the day, we're not just a team. We're truly a family every day, working together, trying to overcome certain things. And sometimes I get a little bit upset with the fact that there's criticism thrown in a way where I know that the guy's working. So I'm very happy for him that he got that goal for the group.
he said he should have gone like this. That was the cupping his ears to the crowd, like, I can't hear you anymore. I get that. That's something you generally do in an opposing stadium, not to your own fans. And I feel for Peter here. I understand where he's coming from. He's going to protect his guys. He obviously likes Kyrie a lot. But also, the criticism was just. He was a striker that wasn't scoring goals and was not effective for the team for a long time. Most people, or not, maybe not most people, a lot of people were still on board with the whole he's effective and helps the team. The team was winning at the time, even when he wasn't scoring. But there was a long period of time where it was almost inexcusable for Kyrie Shelton to get out on the field. It wasn't even his fault anymore that he was playing so bad, because it was just he shouldn't have been out on the field. And that's why I felt so bad for him. And yeah, so you can understand where Peter's coming from, but also I don't like the implication that if someone was frustrated with him, that they said something bad about him. Of course someone did. That's what fans do. He was playing bad, and I think anyone who had something negative to say about Kyrie you could definitely understand that.
Yeah, but I do think there's a difference between saying, okay, he's not playing as effective as he was, he's not, and things like that, but I do see fans saying way worse, man. Like, this guy should never play soccer again. And
right.
Way worse than that. I'm not going to repeat some of that stuff. So
I
do see where there's a line that I would tend to not boo my own player in my own stadium. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I've learned those responses online like that, when someone says it's the worst, or the way you talk is an extreme thing. I've learned to just read it. It's like the Matrix. You don't read the words like that. It's just like, I don't like Kyrie. I don't think Kyrie played well tonight. Because it's just, if someone thinks they had one bad play, the comment they put online is, he's the worst player that has ever played this game. And you would think Peter would understand that at this point too, right?
I don't think Peter's a social media kind of animal. I mean,
right, but he's been doing this for a long time. Social media is not new. He's been reading or seeing people yelling at the team for a long time now, right? You got to just understand that fans are passionate and they're going to speak in extremes when you're reading comments online.
Well, I love, Cody, how you're showing that you have a heart here for not just Kyrie, but just a heart in general. I like it. But David in the chat is said exactly what I was thinking, that this is the perfect use of Kyrie. We're late in the game, we're up, get him in there, get some fresh legs, let him do his thing. That's where he needs to be. And, any one of us could have put that ball into the net, but the ball that he played into Tommy, and then, keeping running, looking for the rebound, it was a smart play as well. So well done, Kyrie Shelton.
And then boom.
That ball to Tommy was a very good one, man.
Yeah.
That's one of the best passes he's made all year, quite honestly.
Boom, just like that, $600,000 a goal. Not too bad. It's going down quick. Okay, any other shout-outs from this game last night? Who should we talk about that we aren't talking about? How about
well, I'm gonna throw this out there, guys. I'm not beyond looking at another male and saying that man is attractive. So Tim Leibold could probably be, if you're going to change or make one sporting player into a superhero, I think Leibold fits the mold. He's built, he's handsome. He could be a superhero. We just need a name for what he would be.
Tim Leibold is who are you saying the right name?
Have you looked at the man?
I did, and had the exact opposite thought that you just had. I'm not even joking.
Okay, David in the chat says it should be Pulido. Okay, all right.
Pulido is very handsome for sure. This is insane to me that you're saying that, because I rewatched the game, and I actively had the thought, like, he sparked a whole idea of a social media post that I'm gonna do, where all of what neighborhoods it looks like all of the players are living in, and yeah, it's like,
all right, well, you gotta tell us.
He looks like he's from Independence.
Like
it looks like he's from Independence as opposed to downtown, which is where I would say that someone that looks like a model or a superhero would be from. That's very interesting. Okay. We have we just got different tastes in men, Robert. I don't know.
There you go.
What can I say? Pulido is very, very attractive, though. He fixed his hair. Thank you for fixing the hair. When we first signed him I don't know what he was doing there, but he's really coming to his own as he hit his 30s. Thad, who's the hottest on the team?
I'm not.
It's Johnny. Johnny is the answer to that question. Okay, so let's stop objectifying people here. Okay, yeah, actually, let's take a non-break for some of you. Thad, wait, what do you want to say?
I was just I saw David mention Shallowy. If you're talking about superheroes, he would be that awkward kid, superpowers, Spider-Man kind of thing. But that just brought up the fact that he was the captain last night.
Yes, he wasn't listed in the game day, or at least the roster image that they put out. So this must have been a last-minute decision of some sort. But yeah, Peter said it was kind of a reward for how he's been playing and leadership he's been showing.
He's been around for a long time. He's been the from the academy to the first team, and he's showing some leadership. So that's just kind of cool.
He has. It feels like he's been around a long time at this point, but it doesn't feel like anyone has been around as long as Diego Fagundes, who is somehow only 28 years old, and he's been playing in MLS since 1996.
Hey, going back to Shallowy, Thad, do you think he revels in the fact that now the press comes to him a lot more often? You know, he captained last night, for example, but just otherwise. Do you think he revels in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you also notice the way he speaks is a lot different now. Not a lot different, but a little different.
Yeah.
He used to be like, "Oh yeah, I was pissed that this happened. I was pissed that happened. That that sucked." And now he'll go, "I was mad about that." He's becoming that slightly more mature, which is a little disappointing.
Yes, I was gonna say I don't like that. That's the reason we always liked interviewing him, because he was just like talking to one of your buddies about the game.
Oh, speaking of one of our buddies, we ran into one of our old friends in the press room. Do you remember this, Cody?
Yes, I was gonna let you wanted to tell it.
Okay. Well, you looked like you weren't remembering, so I was just making sure.
How could I forget?
A young guy named Gianluca Busio.
Boost came through, got to say hello. He was very excited to see Thad, old buddy Thad.
He did offer to do an interview right then and there, but I declined.
He's actually not even lying about that. He really did. I think he immediately regretted saying the joke that he was saying. But
yeah, yeah, I knew he wasn't too serious about it, so I was like, "Yeah, man, we'll do it later."
Yeah, good to see Busio back hanging around. He did the beer corner, bought everybody beer in the Cauldron. I saw him and Jake Davis hanging out on Instagram. So welcome back, Busio. And yeah, let's take a quick non-break here, if ads are going to show or not, and then we're going to move on to Alan Pulido. All right, man, that was a quick break. I hope you enjoyed those ads, maybe. So, Alan Pulido. Chivas is sniffing around. There's a report that it's already done. You also always have to take anything media out of Mexico with a grain of salt with some of this. At least the sources that we were seeing it from are not ones that you would really get excited about and trust that something is done. Thad, have you changed your opinion on Alan Pulido after the goals he's been scoring?
No.
Okay. Robert, where do you stand?
Okay, wait. What is Thad's opinion? Anyway.
What opinion was I supposed to change, man?
I don't know why you do this to me. Do you know that we're doing a podcast right now? Do you think just going, no, helps the show? Come on, give me an answer here. Help me out.
Well, give me a lead more than did you change your mind? Like, Thad, you hated the guy. Have you changed your mind? Thad, you thought he was going to be a superstar. Did you change your mind? Thad, you thought he was handsome. Did you change your mind? Give me something, man. You talk about me not doing the show. You got to help me here.
Thad, did you change your mind on Alan Pulido?
Yes. Is that better?
That's a shaken.
Thad, give me something. What is wrong with you?
I just explained what was wrong with me. You didn't tell me what I should be changing my mind about.
Okay, Robert, what is your opinion on Alan Pulido? Because Thad is throwing ice all over this fire.
Well, Cody, if you read KC Soccer Journal, I wrote an article not too long ago, and not every article I put my own personal opinion in, but you could probably garner it from the article that, I'm a fan. He's in. Everything I've heard from everybody is that he's in, he's here to play. And, he is rounding into form for sure. But I don't know if right now, Mr. Cody, you want me to go into stuff I saw on about his interview with the KC Telemundo last night.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not familiar with this interview. What did we learn from that?
Well, as you and I were commenting last night, Cody, there was a lot of Spanish speakers in the press room, more than usual. They just hanging about, and we assumed they were there just to ask about Chivas, right? And on Telemundo KC, so they asked him if he was leaving for Chivas, and Pulido said that he's leaving the negotiation piece to his manager. He wants to focus on what's happening on the pitch at the moment. He didn't deny the Chivas connection. He said he was still in talks with Sporting as well, and says he's happy here. But then his Instagram today,
Sigamos juntos. On Instagram.
In Instagram today, he posted, and someone misinterpreted it as saying, let's stay together, implying let's stay together with Sporting. But someone corrected him and said what it actually really means in Spanish is let's continue together. Let's keep on this roll. Could be the meaning there. So
he's
a bit of mystery and
nobody
about the Pulido saga there.
Nobody misquoted it. He all of his posts, he does it in Spanish and then he does it in English. And his own Instagram post says, let's stay together. So yeah, I don't know. That is I guess it is cryptic. It could be looked at two different ways. We're playing well together right now. Let's keep doing that. Or let's stay together. I'm gonna re-sign here.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was just upset about the situation with him the last time we talked about it. It's just really unfortunate. And I don't know what we should do, but damn, if he scores another 2 goals next week, I'm going to be in a place where it's like, pay that man his money. We found someone that can score goals in Major League Soccer for Sporting Kansas City specifically. Just give him whatever he wants, right?
Absolutely.
That's 3 in his last 2 matches as well. So
yeah, if he puts up
good.
If he puts up 2 on LAFC, I'm going all in on Alan Pulido.
And you still have to remember all these rumors coming out of Mexican media. There's not a lot of real facts and substantiation to them. He doesn't say that he's wanting to go there, which obviously would be stupid if.
right.
When we asked Peter a couple weeks ago, he said they'd had not one conversation with Chivas about him going there. So there's the various options that this could go. Chivas could pay to get him early, like in the summer transfer window, and he could go. Chivas could sign a pre-contract with him coming up shortly, and he could go at the end of this season. Or he could stay with Sporting, or I guess I could go somewhere else even. But that seems like the 2 most likely options or 3 most likely options. But if they haven't talked to Sporting, there's not a negotiation to have him come early. And I know he loves Chivas. That was some of his best times there. But as far as I know, and as far as everything I've heard, is he still has a lawsuit against Chivas because they haven't paid him money from when he was there before.
That's what I was just about to say. You say he loves Chivas, the team he currently is suing.
Yeah, but I think you could have a different, you can have a separation in your mind about these things. You can love the club, love the team, love that whole aspect of it, but not necessarily love the owner / management of it. You know what I mean? You have people who love Sporting Kansas City, but don't like the current manager or current president or current number 9 sub or whatever, right?
Everyone has a different boogeyman in this fight.
So he could be, but that would just make it much less likely that he would sign if he still has a lawsuit against him. Even if he loves the club, I mean, that seems insanity to go, yes, I will come sign a contract for $10 million with you and you won't pay me. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. Any final thoughts on Pulido?
Yeah, 4 goals, 3 assists, tied with Shallowy for the team lead. Tommy's right behind him with 2 goals and 4 assists, but definitely playing in the prime time right now.
My prediction for him this year was 17 goals to break Mjolnir's record. But I don't know. It seems doable now if he's going to score a couple goals every game. Not even that far off. I'm sticking with it. Double down.
But that is an amazing turnaround, though. 3 goals in the first 10 games, 17 goals in the last 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is an absurd stat right there.
And
The historically
multiple
bad
goals in all the home games, the last few home games, and they still have home game heavy schedule coming up.
Yeah.
4 out of
by
the
a
next
couple games.
5. 4 out of the next 5 are at home.
So that'll make it swing it the other way a little bit, but yeah.
Okay, so this kind of bothers me a little bit. Peter keeps saying it, and we all get it. We get that they needed to get their primetime players back. We understand that some guys are injured as well. Leibold, etc. Get it. It was only a matter of time before they came back, and then we start playing better. But that bothers me because, and this has been brought up before too, but it just still irks me that, okay, but why does it have to be the horrible start that it was? Why do the guys who back up those guys, why do they not perform? Why does it have to be a last place when those frontline guys are gone? It just irks me when Peter says, well, I told you all along, we were just waiting. Yeah, but why are the other guys so bad? Why do they perform so bad?
I don't know. I mean, I understand what you're saying. There's part of me that completely 100% agrees, but I'm just trying to flip it to the other side for a second. The obvious results were terrible. I mean, that first 10 games, no
Yeah.
wins, 3 draws, I think. Only 3 goals, and all 3 draws were actually 0-0 games, if I remember right. It's amazing how bad they were. But if you look at them in like chunks, the first 3 games they didn't get good results, but they didn't look bad. I mean, they looked actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
And then there was like that loss of confidence that happened, and I still point to that. I think it was the 3rd game, the loss of confidence after that double penalty kick block, where Agata took it, got it blocked. They got a retry because the goalie came off early, and then Eric stepped up and said, "I'm taking it," and then he got blocked.
Yeah.
They went completely apart after that, and getting new guys in and then getting some results. You look at last year, they were pretty mediocre through most of the year, and then just 2 fresh faces made all the difference in the world. And one of them being a midfielder that they really needed and all that. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to defend them being horrible. I'm just saying that if you look at it in different aspects, because I know even when they were like 4 or 5 games in to that run of being bad, you could look at a lot of their stats, and a lot of their stats were good.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
XG wasn't bad. The carries, the passes, all these little things that should show decent results, if not good results, were there. Just the results were not. It's one of those, like, you could see the goodness, but you couldn't see the goodness at the same time.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah, it's
asked
amazing that we're where we are now. But just imagine if we had won 2 of those games,
Yeah.
maybe 3, we would be contending for a home playoff spot, not just a playoff spot right now, which would be a much better position.
there are
Much
17 games
much
left.
better in tune to win an MLS Cup.
There are 17 games left. What makes you think that they won't be competing at
There are 16
towards the-
games left.
towards
but,
the top of the table?
But
I
hey,
just
we don't
don't-
know that.
I just don't
If we
understand.
knew that, then we'd be making millions of dollars.
This is just
But,
such a weird conversation.
we'll see.
Somebody asked him that question in the press conference last night, and like Robert, the conversation we're having right now. Why were they so bad all those games ago? It's
Well,
just
it's
weird
just-
that we're even
to me,
having that
it's like-
conversation right now.
No, to me, it's like, okay, it doesn't matter that the guys that I put on my roster and trained did so horrible when these guys were out. That doesn't matter. All that matters is that I was right about these frontline guys being better and us, recouping. It just kind of like, okay,
Well, no, I
Did it
think
really have to
the
be that
answer
bad?
is that we weren't that bad, and there was all of the evidence that Thad just gave that they weren't playing all of that terrible, and it's just such a
it's a
weird.
results-oriented business, though.
Okay, and what's happening right now?
Now, yeah, but just think how much better we'd be if we hadn't been so bad then.
Right.
This is just a weird. I'm sorry, that's just a weird discussion to me.
So you're happy with being in contention for a playoff spot, even though we played one more game than most of the teams around us.
I am very happy with the way the team is playing right now.
Instead of being in contention for a home playoff game right now.
But what
You're happier with that?
No, but what?
No, he's not happy.
I wish
All
we
right.
had a few more points. But what is the like? We're trying to analyze what went wrong all those games ago when everything has been fixed now.
I'm just saying that leaning on that fact is just kind of irks me a little bit.
Yeah, the team was bad. All of that was terrible, and then they got the players back, and all is working well now. It just seems so weird to me to be like, okay, but they still shouldn't have been that bad. Why were they that bad before?
Can
it's
I join your
annoying.
side now for a second, Robert?
Please.
I just want to flip. Because I you know that's me. I try to look at both sides of this, and I'll try to argue both sides. Despite not having those players, despite not having Pulido, Kenda, Radoya, Tim from Germany, all these other players that weren't out there when you wanted them to be. Russell at times. Yes, thank you, David, in the chat.
It wasn't just a couple players. That just listed off a whole bunch of people. It was a lot of key players came back.
But the thing is, they should have gotten at least some results in those.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 draws out of 10 matches is pretty damn piss poor. Again, if you look at some of the underlying stats, they weren't bad. But with all these starters, again, thank you, David, in the chat for making sure that was highlighted bold letters there. It was all guys who were starters, and it makes a lot of difference, obviously. But it still should have been at least a couple more results in there. I mean, there was some games that were close. It was some bad luck.
Yes, it was all horrible.
Confidence with the shit.
It was all horrible, and that's why we started talking about what it would look like if they needed to make a managerial move. That's why we were talking about
Ben Sweat's fault. I mean,
Peter Vermees.
Well, hey, okay, you talk about how great the end of last season was. How different was the lineup at the beginning of this season from that lineup? Not really that different.
Yeah, we've done that podcast too. Again, that's like we just are going to have these same conversations about why the team was bad back then. We know the answer. They got players back.
Cody,
now that's why they're good.
I can't say something that irks me. I apologize. My fault.
But it
for
did
having
come up in
feelings.
it did come up in the post-game presser yesterday because somebody is going to ask the same question for the next 6 games in every presser availability of why is it different now? Because they don't realize that somebody's already asked that question 1,000 times.
And that the answer seems so obvious that like 5 key players have returned to the lineup.
but it is still
why your roster isn't good enough underneath that.
But see, I think maybe we're seeing that it is now because the roster underneath it was 2 center backs last night and they got a very good win. I think we're just seeing things just didn't go the way of Sporting. They played good enough to get a couple results out of that, like we were talking about. Things just didn't go the way. Literally everything was going against Sporting KC for the first 10 games. And all
David
it means
points out most rosters aren't that deep in MLS because of
you can't be.
Yeah.
Which can I just throw out something completely different? Going back to the fact that we had Castellanos and Volador playing last night. Can we call that pairing the Robertos?
Well done. It seems David in the chat here seems to be fully shifted. Now he's making all of the arguments that I was making for maybe excuse. He's making he's making a bunch of excuses for Vermees now in the chat, even though he was a Vermees out guy. No, so all that, the extent of how bad it got, all it's doing is just creating a better storyline for the end of the season when they hoist that cup. We'll sit back and remember the whatever game it was it San Jose where the fans were booing and chanting for Vermees out. We'll remember that as the darkest day in club history, and it was the season of redemption as they hoist the trophy. It'll all be so legendary.
All right, let's notice that it was at 34:30 on June 11th, so we can go back to it. Okay, all right, noted.
That's right. Got it. Let's move on to one little other piece of the Lionel Messi move that I don't think we entirely discussed.
We already had a pod about Messi.
And
Jeez,
it is the biggest, and no one listened to it either. The midweek one, nobody listened to it either. So we're going to talk about it again. No, the aspect we didn't talk about is just some of the logistics that are going to have to change. MLS security, media protocols, how close fans get to the players, and things like that's something I'm very interested in of Messi's impact on this league, because some of it is going to have to happen very quickly. Like, just one thing, we'll start here just because we've talked about this before. The media in the locker room. Is Messi just like the first game, Messi's just going to turn around after he puts on his underwear and then there's going to be microphones and cameras in his face? Or is MLS going to have to change some of these rules, Thad?
I think they might change some rules for Messi. I don't know.
But then Messi goes around to other stadiums, right? Don't you have to have league-wide protocols that are changing?
I think they might change for Messi everywhere. So
right. So then they'll change for the whole league.
Yeah, but I mean, most people don't go into the opposing team's locker rooms. I mean, you sometimes have some that do, but mostly don't.
Most teams don't have Messi.
Right. That's why I said it'll change for Messi, because probably won't change for any opposing team, just for Messi. But I don't know. I mean, it will be interesting to see that, because the closest I've seen is when Beckham was here, but I wasn't really doing it as much back then. But he was doing scrums, on the side of the field for people. And the next closest thing is what I call the Tim Howard rule.
I was waiting for an opening to mention the Tim Howard story. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, do you want to tell it, or you want me to?
No, you can go ahead.
Tim Howard was here with whichever team he was with, and supposedly got into a confrontation in that little tunnel in the center of the field
because
between the two benches.
Because there's just no separation. You can scream at and touch, reach out and touch, do whatever you want to these players coming by.
And my understanding is the story told by Tim and their PR department is not 100% accurate, but that forced a change that the opposing team doesn't go through there except for the walkout, and they would go through the other corner at Children's Mercy Park. So
you didn't finish that thought there. There was a confrontation, is the word I'm going to use, a kerfuffle between a fan and Tim Howard in the tunnel at Sporting KC. So yeah, I think MLS fans are obviously different than a lot of other leagues, and that's why it's worked here for so long. But yeah, there's just some of these big names are going to come from these other leagues and things like that. Like Tim Howard, I know he was over here for a long time of his career, but man, he came back and was just like, a dude can just yell at me from 2 feet away. Like, how is this fair? Like, how is this possible? Robert, what do you feel about these? Actually, well, you didn't get to join the Messi pod. Do you have any take you want to give on this? What do you think about all the security protocols?
Well, I mean, we keep referencing Beckham in a lot of ways for Messi, and, I think they're going to have specific, little pressers for Beckham himself is what they'll probably do.
Beckham?
But I did want to mention one of the highlights or lowlights of my career was interviewing David Beckham at Community America Ballpark in that little teeny locker room. It happened to be the time when him and Landon were not getting along, and you could feel the tension in the locker room. But yeah, that's kind of one of the highlights of my career. David Beckham, Community America Ballpark locker room.
What did you ask him? What did he say? Did you get anything spicy from it?
No, it was. I think it was the game where he scored that goal from over half field. So that was basically the discussion that night.
Were you checking out his tattoos?
No, but I was just noticing how much shorter he was than I thought he actually was.
Okay. Any final thoughts here, guys?
Well, we got LAFC coming up this weekend. LAFC is they lost the Champions League final. They lost this past weekend.
4-0.
Just a loss. A good time to hit them. We're on a roll. They're not. So hopefully we can knock them down another notch.
Yes, sir.
Taste the rainbow, everybody. Let's get after it. Either side don't seem so tough. And 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.